I've started anyway. Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Fit Beyond 40. Today we're going to be talking about men's hair loss and the link to mental health and where they stand, etc. I had a lot of messages after I had my hair transplant, which is been over a month now. Surprisingly, more messages about my hair transplant than I did about doing the Snowden challenge. So I had quite a few, and everyone wanted to know something. And there was probably about 28, 29 lads who wanted to find out some information. So what I did, I couldn't ring everyone. I generally haven't got time. I'm squeezing in podcasts. I can't, it's difficult to find the time, hence why you are in with me today. So what I did was got those men to send me some questions that they wanted to know. Some of them I couldn't answer. Some of the ones that I can, I've put in a list, hence why it's taken about a month, because to get these fellas to reply is trying to get blood out of a stone. So I've done a few questions. I've taken their questions, and I've just basically done a short episode about men's hair loss because so many people have asked for the information about it. And I took down some stats as well. Where I got you, my little researcher, to find. You all right? Yeah? What's going on? All right, you got all right. So I've got my little research to find out some stuff. And I actually didn't know. Obviously, I've suffered from various types of hair loss, like receding and all that, from probably my late 20s, mid-20s, I reckon. And that was hereditary. My old man went bald pretty early, from what I remember. I didn't actually know that 56 million people worldwide suffer from hair loss. In the UK, it's nearly 15 million. But what shocked me was 6.5 million are men and 8 million are women. For some reason, I always don't know why, just presumed the larger quantity of people who are going to be suffering from hair loss are going to be men. I'm not sure why, but I think a lot of that is to do with when women turn over 50 and go through menopause, and that has a massive effect on their hormones. I don't know too much about that. You women will know a lot more than me. So the most common cause of men's hair loss is androgenic alopecia, which is basically male or female pattern baldness, and that's where you see it. Usually comes off from the sides, comes off from the crown, and you usually still have that strip around the back where your hair generally doesn't fall out. It affects 85% of men by the time they are 50 and 20% of men by their 20s, which is quite shocking. And it affects 40% of women by the age of 50. And obviously that number increases quite a lot after 50 for women, as I mentioned before, due to menopause. It can cause untold distress and anguish to many men out there and women, and it has been clinically linked with depression and anxiety. So those of you who are going through issues, maybe stressed or feeling anxious and depressed anyway, hair loss can add to that, if not be the main cause of that, depending on how your situation is. Also affects your self-esteem and confidence. Definitely for me, I remember being quite conscious of it when it was transparent around the front. And it's been quite difficult to get people on, by the way. I'd love to have those lads on talking about it and giving their opinion of where they're at. But it is quite a courageous thing to do, to come on here and talk to people that you don't know who's listening, about your insecurities, about something physical, which really we don't really have that much control of. In respect to your genetics and stuff. And there are loads of products out there claiming to help you regrow your hair. There's loads of procedures, shampoos, gels, creams, oils, everything. You name it, there's something out there. From what works, from my point of view, there's only ever been 2 clinically proven hair loss treatments out there. One is finasteride, which comes in different brand names. Propecia might be one that you've heard of, and that comes in a 1 milligram tablet that you take a day. That has quite a few side effects. I've taken that for many years, and generally I'm glad to be off it. But those of you who are considering it might want to check out the sides beforehand before you go into that. And the minoxidil, which is the second thing, which is the Regain or Regain foam or lotion. So it's a foam that you apply topically to the top of your head morning and night, or you can get it in a lotion as well. I've tried both. With the lotion, I found it to be quite uncomfortable in the fact it gets quite itchy. And after careful research, I found that it was because the glycerol content in the lotion is a lot higher than the foam. And I think the price difference between the two is probably £8 to £10 over, 3 bottles, which lasts you 3 months. So maybe do your research out there, try and have a little play if you haven't already. Okay, on to the questions. By the way, a lot of these questions you lot could have got off Google, by the way, but for some reason they want to hear it from the horse's mouth. You want to say the questions, don't you? Okay, so my little researcher, you're going to say the questions to me and I'll answer them. And listen, if they're not in great detail, as I've said previously, I'm not a medical or hair specialist or hair doctor or anything like that. So maybe contacting someone who is will get a professional opinion who will give you a much better answer than I will. All I'm going on is my 15 years, 17 years experience. And that's it. So go on then, first question.
Does it hurt?
Does it hurt? That was the main question that came out of everyone. The answer is the injections, yes. So the local anaesthetic is provided by little injections around the head. So those little injections, when they're given to you, I found them extremely painful, probably because there's not a lot of fat up there. It's quite bony around your skull area. So if you can grit your teeth, and the nurses definitely saw me gritting my teeth and clenching my fists, and I have spoken to other people who have had a similar experience with the injections. But once it is numb and once that solution is inside, they could be drilling your head and you wouldn't know it. So it is a short-term pain for a long-term gain, if you like. Next question.
How much did it cost?
Oh, this was a question that a lot of people asked as well. Straight away, they wanted to know the cost. Now, I will put the clinic details that I used in Antalya on the link on my little description thing if you guys want to follow it. But I would definitely encourage you guys to do your own due diligence, do your own research and find a clinic or a hair doctor or whatever that works for you. I know recommendations can have great weight in you choosing your own thing, but I also feel like you've got to have that connection or with the doctor in respect to they've got to manage your expectations and you've both got a line of what you think you're going to get out of it. So you've got to kind of have that link with the surgeon or the nurse who's going to do it. But how much did it cost? It was the clinic I went to, I really liked. They only had set prices. There's loads of different clinics in the UK and abroad who offer set prices or prices per graft. So the more grafts they take, the more money it will cost. This clinic basically was 2 fixed prices. It was £1,800 or £2,000, and it was £1,800 if you wanted to source your own accommodation, and it's £2,000 if you wanted them to sort the accommodation out for you, which I did, and it proved very worthy. There you go.
How long did it take?
How long did it take? I'm surprised you'll read my handwriting. It's really messy. How long did it take? So the whole procedure, it depends. I'm guessing each clinic do it differently. The doctor clinic where I went to, I think they like you to come in a day before if you can to have a blood test. They're really thorough, by the way. But I did mine on the morning of, which is also possible. So I had a morning blood test where they check all your bloods for their safety and for yours. They also can calculate kind of your recovery process time and your general health as well. So it's why wouldn't you have that? And obviously from their point of view, if you've got any underlying infections or anything like that, might be a risk to them. They'll know as well. But basically the whole day, I would say, including the blood test, you're looking at a long day, probably 7 to 8 hours. I was on my front for the first 3 hours where they take out the donors, so all the work is going on the back of your head. You'll have a lunch break and then you turn around and you're lying on your back, and again they'll put the anaesthetic injections in the front, and then they will proceed to transplant them into the transplanted area. So that took another 3.5 hours. So all in all, and I think I think it was 2,800 grafts. So obviously if you need a lot more grafts, your day's going to be a lot longer. If you need less grafts, it might be shorter. And so it will depend. But roughly, I would say for me and for the average person, you're looking at 1 full day. Yep. Number 5.
How to try do it? How to try do it?
Oh, how do they do it? So that's my writing again. How do they do it? So how it was explained to me was basically they were interested in the follicle, which is the plant pot, and not the hairs, which are the plants itself. So they extract the plant pots from the back of your head, from an area where you generally don't lose your hair, and they'll put them back into the front area. Because they've been out of your blood circulation system for about an hour. When they take them out, you are going to experience some hair loss over the recovery phase. But yeah, so for them, nice and easy, they're trying to take it out. It kind of felt like they had an apple corker, if that makes sense. So it was like a little apple corker. That's the kind of sensation you got. So they're going in, picking out the follicles and then just plucking them all out. And then obviously you had a nurse sorting through the follicles, because not every one of the follicles is going to be being able to use in the transplanted area. They've got to check the condition of it, etc. So yeah, it was there's probably 4 to 5 nurses involved in that procedure. So 2 involved in the extracting, and then I think another 3 or 4 working in the sorting area, also keeping their follicles nice and moist when they're outside your body. Yep.
How long to grow back?
How long to grow back? This is another question that was right up there on everyone's asking. How long to grow back? It varies for everyone, but they say you won't see the full results till about a year. So they look to say 12 or 15 months for full results, but you should have really good results after 9. As I said, they do shed. So mine, I can take my hat off in a minute. Mine have shed now, so I'm 6 weeks in. So they do shed after 2 to 3 weeks, and the smaller hairs start coming back after 3 months. I know smaller hairs will obviously start getting stronger and thicker as the time goes on. So you are at a period of where you're just going to have your normal hair and not your transplanted hair. Cool. Number 6.
Is it permanent? Does it work?
Oh, well done. I thought you might get stuck on that long word. Is it permanent and does it work? So some of the clinics, especially in Turkey, they give you like an 80% guarantee, where they expect 80% of the transplanted follicles and hairs to remain for the rest of your life. But from what I understand, of researching hair and having the transplants done and talking to the doctors, etc., a balding process is lifelong. It does help when you're a bit older, in the fact that I'm going to be 45 soon, so my hair loss, if you like, has slowed right down. Generally, a lot of people's great hair loss is generally between 20 and 35. Not everyone's, but so if your larger period of hair loss is over, I've got more chance of whatever I have now keeping it. But you will still shed hair naturally, even when we're not going bald. I believe we shed 50 to 100 hairs a day, and a lot of that is affected by different factors that maybe we can try and help. We'll talk about it a bit later, maybe we can't. But generally, you are looking for it to stay, a lot of it. But I would, again, with that question, that'd be down to you and your specialist to answer that, because I have no idea on the condition of your scalp and your hair and the rate you're balding and hair loss and everything like that. So, but generally, on the average, they said that you get to keep 80% for your lifetime.
Jim, 14 days, 1 month.
Oh, you've written that question and the answer, Jim. So yeah, a lot of people were asking when they can get active again as well. So they suggest nothing for 14 days. Again, this can vary clinic by clinic, doctor by doctor, by the way. So you might get on Google and you might read different things from different people. I was really happy with the advice given to me by this clinic. It's slightly different to the one when I had it in the UK 15 years ago, but I liked it. I thought they were talking a lot of sense and they could back it all up with research and common sense as well. So Jim, and so after 14 days, you are happy to remain to continue light stuff. So you could do light walking, really light stuff. I can hear that baby now if you keep clicking it, not into the mic. So yeah, really light stuff. So walking, brisk walking and stuff like that. No sport or heavy lifting or kind of weight training, anything like that for a month. Not only for the sweating, but also for your blood pressure as well, and various other reasons they want to. I believe your follicles for the first 3 weeks to 3 months have not bedded properly. It takes a while, depending on each person, how permanent they bed in your head. So you don't really want to do anything that can risk all that hard work that you've gone through to have the surgery. So you don't want any trauma to the head. So obviously no football or anything like that. No football or anything like that. Trauma to the head or the follicles. And also no sweating and high blood pressure to the head, because that's going to make a difference as well. Next one, please, Miss Clicky. Haircut.
Haircut.
Okay, so now this is probably the most difficult time, depending on what you feel and how you feel, especially if you're really conscious about your hair, is you're going to find not having a haircut for 2 or 3 months quite difficult. So I have, I can't remember what it was from the previous clinic, but this time they really encourage definitely not having any clippers, because they really damage, as they're scraping up, they can really damage the grafts and the roots of your hair, whereas a scissor cut is a much safer option. So they kind of advise that you can have a scissor cut after 2 months, but really no clippers or razors that are brushed against the skin quite roughly for 3 months. So you kind of have to woolly hat it, or just a cap or anything like that. Yeah, it's just the sides come out. You look a bit like Wurzel Gummidge for your older viewers who know who that is. But yeah, or you could just, I'm at the stage where I don't really care. So it's, you know, it is what it is. I like wearing a cap anyway. But generally, if I'm out and about, I like getting air to my head. So I'm generally without a cap, and it'll grow back. It's no big deal. It's a few months. Winter's coming now as well. So if you like wearing woolly hats, it's a good excuse to put them on. But again, with hats and caps, you have to be careful and listen to your surgeon as well. Mine was, I think, 2 weeks before I could put any sort of cap on. I really try to extend that period as much as I can, for about a month. So any of you guys who wear helmets, you know, work on site, work anywhere where you need a helmet or a hat on, just be mindful that you're not really supposed to be wearing a hat for 2 to 3 weeks. Maybe speak to the surgeon or the specialist beforehand. Let them know what job you have, what trade you're in, what kind of equipment you wear on your head, and that will have a big bearing, especially motorbikes as well. So delivery drivers, anything like that. If you wear a motorbike helmet, which is close to your hair follicles, I don't think you'll be wearing that for about 2 to 4 weeks. So again, something consideration depending on your work.
What if I'm completely bald?
What if you're completely bald? What if you're completely bald? Or if I'm completely bald? Me. Or if I'm completely bald? This is another question. To be fair, a lot of the lads I know, I was quite surprised at some of them who said they had an issue with hair. Again, you wouldn't know, but you never know. People have said that about me as well, so you wouldn't know what a person is conscious of within themselves unless they make it vocal. So I was surprised. But the other guys who have got their head kind of bicked and shaved, I don't know if it's because you've seen them like that since you've known them, but it really suits them. You know, a lot of the guys I know who have got like a zero, it really suits them to have their hair that way. But I have been asked, if they're completely bald, can you still have it? Generally, even though you've bicking your hair and you're shaving it, you generally will still have follicles at the back of your head, and that's another one to go and see a specialist for. Even if you're looking at maybe having it abroad or having it somewhere else, a lot of these clinics in London or around about maybe near to you will offer a free consultation. So it might be worth going in and just having a check and having a professional see your scalp and let you know what your what the expectation is, what you can have, if anything, and then that will set your tone to speak to other people, and know what you can achieve.
What's the best age? Am I too old?
What's the best age, and am I too old? It's a catch-22 really, and you're never too old. I think if you want it, just go and do it. I would say get it done earlier. It's a catch-22. Get it done earlier so you have more time to enjoy it. But also, if you're getting it done earlier during a period in your life where your hair loss is quite at a high rate, you're probably not going to have that new transplanted hair for a longer period of time, if that makes sense. So it's kind of a catch-22. I had it done, as I said, over a decade ago, and I was obviously still going through a period of hair loss at quite a fast rate. Hence, I didn't get the benefit for as long as I wanted it to. So it's just something you've got to weigh up, depending on how old you are and what you want, what you're looking for. Again, a conversation you might need to have with a clinic. What does that say?
I don't know.
Turkey. Right, so a lot of questions have come up about Turkey, and what it was like and whether you'd go out there, etc. To be honest with you, I had it done here, as I said, I don't know, 15 years ago, whatever it was. And then a certain Wayne Rooney went and had it done a year or two later from that same clinic. So the prices absolutely drove up. They almost tripled. So would I have done it again in London if the prices, last time I checked here, it was about £8,000, which is way too much for me. I've got a family, I couldn't kind of separate or save that kind of money, to be honest with you. And then I'd also have the guilt factor of spending that much money. That could be a great family holiday for all four of us. So, and to be fair, I'm only knocking Rooney on a personal basis. He actually opened a door for a lot of people to have that conversation about hair transplants and stuff. So saying that, although the prices have gone up locally, he's actually, I think he's done a lot for that conversation, for people to have and feel a bit more comfortable about opening up about it. You'll see people on the plane wearing a headband and people shouting, he's got done a Rooney, but yeah, which is quite hilarious. But Turkey, honest to God, if they're the same price as England, just because of the experience that I've personally just had, I would go back to Turkey. The English speaking was great. So I had maybe 3 or 4 people who were really fluent and really good in English. I have a team probably of about 8. I was the only one that day, so they don't see anyone else for hair transplants that day, so there won't be other people in different rooms or different parts of the clinic having that same treatment. It's just you are their focal point for that day, which I really, really liked. They're really professional, they know their stuff. The company that I went to were the first ones in Italia to be registered with the government, and they have been around 20 odd years, and that's all they've done. So they are really, really knowledgeable. 80% they said of their customers come from the UK. So people are obviously enjoying themselves or finding the process cheaper and better, professionally better for them to keep going out.
What's this?
That's the recording bit, baby. So, and there are options, by the way. There's Istanbul, which has loads of options. It is literally like turning.
What's the red buttons?
It means it's recording, babe. I'll let you press one in a minute. So Istanbul is literally like turning on Netflix and trying to find something to watch. They have unbelievable amount of choice of hair clinics. You just get lost going around trying to look for them. I went with Antalya just because we holidayed that region quite a lot. And when I was out there last time, I text the clinic if I could come in and speak to someone, and they're brilliant. They literally just contact you via WhatsApp and they ask you if you're around, and they will pick you up with their driver for free, take you in, have a chat with one of the clinical staff, and that is it. And there's no pressure to buy, or there was no mention of prices at all when I went. Actually, all they were doing was looking at my scalp, looking at my hair, asking about my history, and telling them what they could do. The rest was up to me, and I really like that. Just that honesty, that transparency. It's not a big sales push. It's basically, look, this is what it is. This is what we can do for you. There's nothing to haggle. There's only 2 set prices. And if you want to go ahead, you know where we are. All the process now is also over WhatsApp. So they message me every week or 2 weeks, wanting pictures. So they check on the scalp. They check how the growth is coming on. If you've got any questions, like I had questions about going out in the rain and stuff like that, and wearing a hat, they will get back to you usually very quickly if it's Monday to Friday. If not, within a day. If not within a day. This is what happens when you have to try and get podcasts in, and you've got no time. You have to bring in the family with you. She's crazy, this girl. Right, okay, so we're going to finish off soon, but what I was going to do is, I know a lot of people that I've spoken to or have messaged me are thinking about it, okay, and are contemplating doing it, but not right now, okay? There are a lot of things that I've learned over the last 10 years that you could do that I wish I'd done earlier, and these are things that you can do straight away. If you don't want a hair transplant, you can do these anyway. And if you want a hair transplant, you can start doing these things in the first place to give your scalp and hair a better chance and a better position. So these are all things that have not been clinically proven, but have been proven in other ways. And you can find reviews on them. You can go and do your own research. And they are very good. And you can find and use whatever works for you. First of all, with bone broth. If you use a good organic bone broth, you can drink one a day. It tastes like chicken soup. Make sure you get an organic one, and make sure you get one that's made from grass-fed cows. That has everything required for your skin and your nails. And your hair, sorry. So the gelatin, the everything that skin and stuff is made up of, the collagen, it's all got that, and it's all natural, and your body can use it. It knows how to use it because it's come from an animal source, and it will do your skin and your hair really good wonders. Okay, there's no harm in taking that. You can look on eBay, you can look on Amazon, and you can find them.
My feet are cold.
If you're cold, I'll get you some socks, baby. All right, you can also take something similar, which is organic beef gelatin. Again, you can add that to your food. You can add that to your soups or whatever. I didn't quite get on with this one just because it's quite jelly-like. Once you add the hot water to it, it's quite a jelly-like consistency. Not very great. I preferred the bone broth. But if you do a lot of cooking and you make soups or you make chilies or mince or anything like that, that's a great one, the gelatin that you can just throw in and you won't taste it. Biotin, the recommended dose from both clinics and both doctors I've seen over the years has been about 5 or 6 milligrams. You can find tablets that are higher than that. If you are, you can snap them in half or get a pill cutter and use that. You don't actually need more than 5 or 6 milligrams. There is no research showing that anything above that will increase your hair density or your hair regrowth or anything like that. Saw palmetto, which is a supplement that you can get, which also can help your hair become stronger, thicker, and cannot regrow your hair. Just to make sure you're not taking this stuff to regrow your hair, but it can improve the condition of your scalp and your hair already as it is. Natural shampoos, okay, so staying away from all the parabens and the chemicals and stuff in the in mainstream kind of shampoos, and finding yourself a natural shampoo. You can find these over Etsy, you can find these over you can Google them or find the people. You can try using some kids shampoos, but again, look out for chemicals. Look out for the kind of the stuff, the peroxides, the stuff in there that you don't really want on your scalp. It's not good for you, and it's not going to help your hair loss. It's only going to accelerate the procedure. No tap water as well. Tap water can be really detrimental to your scalp. This is something I've only learned a few years ago. It's just because of the amount of stuff that we are unable to filter through our through our taps, and we're using that and taking it on through our skin. You can get what we have now. We've got a shower filter which cost about £40. It wasn't a lot of money. I think you buy a filter every 3 months, which works out about £3 a month, and it is absolutely brilliant. So it's just a universal fix. You take off your shower filter, your shower head, you put the shower head on, and it takes out 99.9% of the chlorine and all the other harsh things in your tap water. So when you wash your body and your hair, it allows that less damage basically, and it's great for kiddies as well. Both kiddies, especially this one, had a bout of eczema and skin condition, and that has really seemed to help their skin massively. So it's not just about the hair. If you've got kiddies and you're interested in that anyway, it might be something you might want to look at. No chemicals as well. Chemicals, hairspray, wax, gels, etc. are all going to accelerate your hair loss and make your hair weaker. Argan oil has been renowned for improving the strength and the thickness of your hair, as has Botana oil. I know Botana oil comes with a lot of claims. Again, I've not had any regrowth from it, but I haven't had any hair loss from it. So if you want to buy it, it's not that expensive. Just making sure that you're getting a good organic one, and it is what it says on the tin. Oh, baby, hold on 2 seconds. Also, stress. Okay, this is an individual thing that you guys are going to have to look at for yourselves, how you can try and reduce the stress, reduce your own stress. Obviously, it's different reasons, different activities can help for different people, sorry. So whatever works for you, getting outside, listening to music, relaxing, having a bit of me time, whatever it may be, to try and lower your stress levels, because stress has a huge impact on your hair loss. And another one that I wasn't actually that aware of, or maybe I didn't want to be aware of, and how the adverse effects on your hair is processed foods. It's incredible the amount of stuff in processed food which is not good and has an impact on your hair, from metals in your food, from chemicals in your food, from things that just should not be in your food. Yes, baby.
I'm stuck on my wheel.
It's all right, baby. I'll get it out. So trying to change your food, so eating, I know it's expensive and I know it's hard, but maybe eating less what you're eating but better quality. So definitely with hair loss, you want your red meats, you want good quality organic grass-fed red meats if you can. Your organic chickens if you can. Again, as I say, it's not quantity. Try and get the quality in as well, and it will help. Your veg and your fruit as well are also going to make a big difference. And that is it really. Those are the things that you can start doing now and making slow changes. If you are considering having your hair transplant, or whether you don't want to have your hair transplant but you just want to improve your scalp, again, it can. Let me sort this one out. We're nearly done. I need a little cage to put you in, don't I? You can. Sorry. These effects of having hair loss aren't great when you're going through it yourself, and if you're feeling isolated and down anyway, they can kind of roll on like a snowball and make you feel quite down. But just have comfort in the fact that you're not the only one. There are other men going around with feeling the same sort of things. There are other men going out there who are suffering from hair loss. So don't let it get you down. There's lots of information out there where you can start making changes and start improving the health of your hair. And transplant is just one of those examples out there, but a lot of other things that you can do. There are things that you can do that are free. Again, it's not the end of the world. There are options for you. Thank you very much. So it's a bit of a different one today. Thank you very much for being patient. And if you heard any funny noises in the background, it was the researcher pressing loads of buttons. But thanks again, and we'll be back to our normal podcast episode in 2 weeks. I hope that answers all your questions about hair, all you guys that messaged me. If not, do drop me another private message and I will try and answer any remaining questions that you have personally. But thank you for tuning in, guys. Thank you very much. So thank you. Say thank you.
Thank you.
Say bye
Bye-bye.
to the camera.
Bye.
See ya. Thank you.